Hey everybody, welcome to the Camo Dave Show. This is from various news organizations. This is the CTV in Canada there. Looks like by sometime in November, the land borders will be reopened to fully vaccinated visitors. So visitors from Canada can come over to the US of A. That includes tourists. So that's a big deal for the nomads because a lot of nomads are Canadian tourist snowbirds that come down from Canada and go down to Florida or Arizona, Texas sometimes, but that's where they do. And last year they didn't come down, and so there weren't a lot of Canadian nomads here. So so by sometime in November, there's a couple dates that have been mentioned, but the borders will be open to Canadians that have been fully vaccinated, and they can come down and have fun down there in Quartzsite, I guess, attend the RTR. The problem, one of the questions, one of the issues here, CTV, that's one of the Canadian channels there, says that a lot of Canadians have gotten the AstraZeneca vaccine, which has not been approved in the U.S. Would they be accepted under the travel eligibility guidelines? A good question. You know, here in the United States of America, it's the J&J, Pfizer, and the Moderna, but we don't have the AstraZeneca, or at least that hasn't been officially approved here. So if you've got an AstraZeneca vaccine there in Canada, does that qualify as a legitimate vaccine? Good question. They say that the United States is still working on it anyway. So again, it's a whole different thing if you're flying down. You have to get a negative COVID test something like 3 days before you fly if you're flying into the United States from Canada. But the rules are changing for actual border crossings, in vehicles. So as long as you've been vaccinated twice, got your 2 doses or your 1 J&J, I think you're considered fully vaccinated here in the States if you're from Canada, and you are welcome to come down and party hardy down there in Quartzsite or wherever, Orlando, wherever you want to go and spend the winter. They said that a lot of the houses in Canada are actually owned by or rented or whatever by Canadians down there. I mean, a lot of the homes in Florida are rented or whatever by Canadians, and last year, still this year, a lot of them remain empty because they have not come down. News of the border reopening was welcomed by thousands of Canadian snowbirds worried that they would be forced to stay home for a second consecutive winter. Yeah, sunny destination isn't the only thing at stake for travelers. Right, many of them own properties which they have largely been unable to access during the pandemic. This is from CTV. Travel insurance broker says that older travelers typically want a vehicle or an RV at their disposal when in the U.S. because if they're traveling with pets, they prefer that taking your pet is easier in an RV or in a vehicle than it is flying. So anyway, so it looks like for most people, it looks like you'll be able to come down from Canada this year and the beautiful warm weather of Florida and Arizona. Again, still that question about the AstraZeneca. Will keep you updated. Got a new one from Foresty Forest, camping out there in the Selkirk Mountains of Canada. This is one of my favorite hot sauces, by the way. I love this stuff. Cholula. Yeah, it's got the little wooden cap on the top. I love that. Sprinkle that on just about everything I eat. All right, and then we got Foresty Forest up there, Simon up there in Canada, and he's said that because the borders are now going to be reopened, he's excited and he wants to come down to the United States and cruise around the deserts and hike some mountains. So, all right, that'll be cool, seeing Foresty Forest south of the border. Yeah, he says one of the things about Canada is there's not a lot of 4x4 type trails there. And in the United States, of course, there's mucho miles, not kilometers, and you got to get used to the kilometers, miles thing. Don't forget those kilometers. The rest of the world uses them, but the good old miles here in the good old US of A, So anyway, looking interesting for Foresty Forest. Now, we haven't heard from the other major Canadian nomads that we talk about, Van City, Van Life, Slim Potato Head, and Just Incredible, whether they're going to be coming down to the States too with the new rules. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll keep you updated. Okay, got an update from Jamie there. Enigmatic Nomadics there near Sedona, Arizona. Ball valve for his shower. New ball valve. What else? The Harley won't start. He has to take that into the Harley place. He's got a motorcycle. What's that? Then he said he's in Sedona. He's just got back from the Gutted Festival thingy dingy up there in Colorado, which he had a good time. And then he is going to be heading to California to meet with some folks to talk about, you know what? The upcoming van build for, what is it, April or May of next year, 2022, up there in that, up near Merced, California. It's supposed to be an Air Force, military Air Force base, whatever. Anyway, he had talked about that about a month or so ago and had all these plans, and then he kind of backed away from that, and then he said it's still all up in the air, so we'll hopefully hear something about that sometime soon. So that's what's up with Jamie. I got a nice one here from Van Camp and Woody. What was that, about a week or two ago? He came by and visited Camo Dave, and we all went out to lunch there at Buck's Pizza. So very nice video here, and a cool shout out from Mr. Woody there. Nice visit. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, and then he says in this, he says, hey, I encourage you to go visit Dave. So maybe there'll be a big line of people outside my door there visiting. I want to visit Dave. I want to visit Dave. We got a nice one from Trip and Tracy, camping at the Blue Ridge Toccoa campground there at Toccoa River, K-O-A, in beautiful North Georgia. Full tiny house there. Got a crack in the old windshield, getting that fixed up. And then Steve and Dana are saying, adios, kids. We're going out for a nice private dinner, I mean, when you have kids, yeah, husbands and wives have a difficult time getting out for a, nice private dinner. But sometimes it happens.